Hi, friends. This is Rachel. I'm Eric. Together, we are talking to trans people. And tonight, we are talking with trans people about the soul. Where is your soul? It's somewhere between the top of your head and the bottom of your feet. I would imagine. You know what, Legends Fall? I appreciate your wanton conquering of every field. Good evening to you! Exclamation points.
Yeah.
The evening, no matter how good it is for you, or any of you people, no matter how good your evening is right now, I hope it gets even better.
Me too.
That's how much positive energy I'm flowing your way.
That's a lot of soul.
Get ready to manifest. Who wants a donut?
You're gonna get one.
You know, if you believe hard enough. That's the thing. And people don't understand. They just don't get, I guess, what it means to believe harder. You know? There's a lot of people that are not believing hard enough. And I tell them, and they're just like, I don't know what you mean, or I can't believe harder. It's like, are you lacking that muscle? How do you believe harder? You simply say, I really believe something. Such as, I really believe in California Nouveau cuisine. I don't, but somebody might say that. Oh, your belief is hard?
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mean, belief is something that has multiple dimensions. It has hardness, or depending on the kind of belief, it might have viscosity if it's a liquid belief. If it's a solid belief, it has hardness. It has brittleness, of course, as well. So, sure, your belief's hard, Oliver Lennon, but is it brittle as a consequence? What's breaking to pieces with one crack of a hammer? We don't know. You didn't mention that vector. Is your belief frightening to others? Can it roar with the spirit and violence of a lion enraged? These are the things we need to know. Does it have girthiness? Right. Does your belief have the girth to give birth? I want to know. I think everybody here wants to know. Okay, so now this jacket has gotten a little warm. And in preparation for our exciting live stream, I will grind a little bit more marijuana for our smoking purposes. I would point out that what I discovered is something Cameron's pointed out before as well. When you're smoking it ground already up, you gotta pack a smaller bowl or else you'll cough. So try taking a smaller hit when it's ground up, maybe. I don't know. This is kind of coffee weed too.
I mean, I don't know. I've always coughed. I don't mean to.
But Rachel, this is the thing. I'm not gauging its coffeeness on you. I'm saying this is pretty coffee weed. It's making me cough too. And I'm not necessarily a huge cougher.
No.
So the last weed we had was super coffee, and it started to kind of tear up my lungs, you know?
Yeah.
This weed is not that coffee, but it's still pretty coffee. Now, the soul is in one's root chakra, says Dumb Genius. Or one's genitals.
Genitals.
The genitals are the children of Amy Schumer.
Oh, that makes sense.
Remember, she was going to name her kid Jeantel until she realized it was.
Oh
like
my
genital.
God! Yes, that's right.
So, right, we're talking about souls right now. That's right, I forgot.
Your type and your soul.
So, what do we mean? Why? First of all, why is there this concept of soul at all? Well, the reason is it links very closely to personality. The fact is, a person perceives themselves and is perceived by others to be the same identity persisting across time in various stages of development. So it's sort of naturally obvious to anybody that there's something more than just a person. There's a specific person, right? That it's like if we were to imagine that Bob survived death into an afterlife and his soul was walking around doing stuff, we know what that means. In other words, we could say, oh, well, it would mean that the same person, fundamentally, the same personality, is still available to engage with you. We fictionalize instances of it all the time. Rachel and I were watching this show about called The Magicians, and one of them dies and is in the underworld, and there's a bunch of stuff that happens amongst the dead as well as amongst the living. I don't know what Ghost Bob's doing right now. Probably bemoaning the woeful last 10 games of the Dodgers.
10. Ooh.
2-8 over the last 10 games. We were 2-8. That's not so good. Okay. So the idea of a soul is irrevocably linked to the idea of personality type, really. In other words, why is it that so if I were to die and come back as a ghost, but you couldn't see what I looked like because I just looked like a white thing with like wavy lines at the bottom, like a ghost shape. And there was no features of me, and my voice was just like, oh, I could still convince you it was me by talking to you. Assuming I had the capacity to remember everything and can express myself however I wanted, you'd still be able to tell it was me. I'd be able to answer questions that only I would know. I'd be able to, I'd sound like me. You could test my cognitive functions. They'd prove to be ENTP cognitive functions of the ghost, right? So this hypothetical ghost, we understand what makes a ghost distinct from, say, the wind. The wind moves the curtains. A ghost might move the curtains. But what makes a ghost distinct from the wind is that a ghost has an identity, has a personality, is a specific person. So, that's where the idea of a soul comes from, really, I guess.
I just had the image of Michael Jackson's soul hanging around.
I wonder where it's hanging around Neverland Ranch.
Probably, right?
Well, Genexial, I think you're missing the point of this thought experiment here, which is not that ghosts have brains and cognitive functions, but that the idea of a soul is, in some sense, necessitated by the reality of having an identity that persists across time. So, in other words, we could call that thing, that identity that's not physical, right, but that nevertheless persists across time, a soul, because it's easy to see that that my engagement with, from your perspective, my ability to act as a subject has a limited link to my physical presence. So I could send you an email, I could agree to do a typing session, we could do it, we could record it, I could do all kinds of stuff without ever being any closer to you than I am right now. So there's no disputing that I can impact a space where I'm not physically present. Now, should we take that to mean that right now you're looking at a ghost? Well, no, because the thing about appearing, the thing about engaging with a person or a space, even though I am not physically present, is only half of the ghost equation. The other half of the ghost equation is that the person is dead. So the reason why ghosts are sort of fundamentally a contradiction is because dead is defined as no longer extant, no longer objective data, only subjective data now. So the entity, the entity that's a combination both of habits and will and expressions of agency that are visible and expressions of self that are not visible and all sorts of things like that, right? All that stuff disappears definitionally when you die. So, in other words, the definition of death precludes there from being ghosts, because to be dead means nobody can talk to you anymore. But the point I'm trying to make, I guess, if I have one, is, maybe I don't, but is that the arguments against having a personality type are similar to certain kind of theological or atheistic arguments about the soul. One might argue that if your soul is what defines you, then you can't help but be anything but what you are, and it sort of fits in with a predetermination kind of framework. Like, well, you're fated to be exactly who you are and do what you do anyway, so that's just how your soul was made. You are a pattern that will repeat throughout your life, and that's it. On the other hand, for those who take another perspective on it, the soul is the clean part of the self that gets dirtied by living. You sin and your soul is befouled in some fashion. And then you have to cleanse it by repenting and maybe making amends or something like that.
So in numerology, they say that that's like the last number that a person who has 9 in their numerology chart has lived like many lives. Does that go along with like having a soul?
Yeah, so the notions of reincarnation are in fact predicated on the idea that people have a soul. However, what's weird about it is what I was just expressing before about the idea of a soul being that it links to your nature, your life, right? So the idea that you could be reborn as somebody else but still be you is a very odd notion. Like, okay, so how is it me that was reincarnated as something else? Like, if it was my soul that is reincarnated as a little girl born to a father and mother in Iceland or something, right? How is that? In what fashion is it still me? And so typically the answer to that links to, well, there's some retained memory of past lives. But in theory, you could say, well, in each of these lives, you're the same personality type. So in that regard, your soul is the same soul. And that a configuration, a personality type being an ontological configuration, a way of configuring an identity, a way of approaching life that comprises an identity and grows around the grammar of the processes over time. You could imagine cleaning off all the experience and burdens of life from the architecture of those processes and restarting it in a new body, right? You could conceivably do that. And in that regard, it would make some sense to say, okay, it's you that's reincarnated.
I wanted to answer Winston's mom's question at if I believe in ghosts and I had an experience. So like I've definitely had times where I was sleeping in bed and I felt something touch me, or
Well, that was me actually. I was squeezing your boobs. I'm sorry.
But I don't know. I don't really think about them, so I'd say no. I don't believe in ghosts.
Have you ever had a gauzy, see-through gray form sail through your room saying, "Ooh"?
No. I haven't. I never had even like a figure appear to me.
Right. Well, the thing is, I'm not affirming ghosts. I'm not saying we should believe in ghosts. I'm saying that the idea of a soul makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that I believe in.
When you think of it as a configuration that, and then once you think of it as a configuration, a set configuration, it's sort of it like any other instance of a species, right? You plant a tree, an acorn from an oak tree in spot 1, and you plant an acorn from an oak tree in spot 2, and an acorn from an oak tree from spot 3. Number 1 tree grows beautifully, super big and strong because it's in a perfect place for it to grow, and it looks like one thing. Tree 2, same species of tree, is in kind of an iffy spot, and it grows more slowly and is more kind of gnarled looking and less, just generally less robust, but maybe tougher in some sense too. And then the third acorn is planted in a spot where when it's planted, there's a couple of rains, so it sprouts and gets going, but it's actually the desert and it dies in fairly short order. So the same thing can be true of a cognitive function configuration. We could imagine how an ENTP is a human being who attends via this configuration, but of course, whether or not they're going to be a flourishing tree or die depends on where they're planted.
I do believe in soul and that we carry some sort of effects from the past and past like bodies that we've had. But I also believe that like we're here to make the most of like what we have, and like that, like you said, I think I would be an INFJ still, even if I was like a cat in my past life, like with my soul.
Well, I mean, I think what you're saying there is basically, it's not conceivable for you to imagine yourself still being yourself while paying attention in a different basic format, because it's so critical to defining what it means to be ourselves. And so regarding whether or not the soul is separable from the body, for somebody this is something I've noticed in INTJs are fond of this, ENTJs even more so. The idea of somehow downloading their identity or uploading it to the cloud and getting rid of this pesky body and still being themselves. Well, I'm with Aristotle on this. It's not really possible to be yourself except as both a physical creature and a metaphysical creature concurrently. However, from a third party's perspective, the self that is you that persists is some sort of static object. Like, in other words, identity is in some sense static, even if that identity is fluid in its processes. So a frog is a frog, even whether it's jumping or sitting still or swimming or whatever, right? So in the same sense, it's like Eric is Eric, even when he's not acting like Eric particularly. And it's like my relationship with my body is the part of the growing process that's determined by the specs, not by the rules. So that's the thing. It's like there's always this nature nurture thing, right? That people get into about, well, is it nature or is it nurture? And the answer is, I would guess that the best answer to that is it's like you can see how the grammar is the same in two individuals who have very different affects but are the same type if you test them. And it would suggest that somehow on that physical level, experience has caused them to grow differently. One of them grow very straight up, clean and easy. One of them have to grow around a bunch of shit to get to the light, The universe is structured just like our brains, huh? Well, so Amanda May brings up a possible way of thinking about it, which is this sort of when you're born, your body's poured up with generic soul juice. When you die, the generic soul juice goes back into the big soul juice bucket, right? And so there's no retention of the you at all. In fact, the you is not. The you is like in that model, basically just the mold that's growing on the cheese. It's a temporary phenomenon. Once they revert the cheese, they cut off the mold. The cheese goes back into the cheese bucket, gets melted down, and pushed back out a new cheese again.
I wonder if that's a ghost in the bottom screen.
It sure is a stubborn one if it is.
Yeah.
I think we're a part of the universe, one living thing we are a part of. Well, I mean, that's obviously not true, though. For example, we have this fish who's a bully, and we're talking about taking him out to put him in the little local lake here, but I think maybe after Rachel goes to sleep, I'm going to catch him and just flush him on the toilet. What, are you high-fiving me or what?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Right,
you can
cool.
absolutely do that.
Right.
I don't feel because I chose it that like I have any sentimental attachment to it. That shithead, I'm not happy because that very aggressive orange dude.
No, it's not the Jack. It's this orange one.
Yeah, it's this orange.
It's called a peacock.
Oh.
I mean, that's what they said on the
I didn't know that.
peacock cichlids.
Yeah, look at him. He's like laying low at the bottom. But he attacked one of our other.
He attacked one of the Jack Russell Terriers, and and orange dude is another one of those kind of fish that we got. It's called a peacock. I guess they're the more colorful ones or something. Maybe that's why they're called peacocks.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Like one of them is blue and orangish. So we have how many chicklets? What are they? Chicklets?
Yes, is that how you say it? Chicklets? We have 6 of them, I think. We got 2 keyholes, 2 Jack Russell Terriers, and 2 peacocks. Man, only one of them is a particular ass, though.
Yeah, he's an ass.
He's a dick.
He chases everyone. He chases the cichlid that came with him.
Yeah.
Yep. He goes after both the blue ones. He attacked the blue one, the female blue one, and like ripped his or her tail. So she's been like hiding from him. And I also kind of think that maybe Lilu is afraid of him as well, and doesn't come out of his burrow because of the orange.
I'm gonna try to get him. He's very good escape bars. I tried catching him earlier.
I think you're gonna get him.
I'll get him. Yeah. I may need to make a net. I have some loose netting shit around here somewhere. Maybe I threw it away. But regardless, I need to make some sort of net to catch him because he's very evasive. He evades like Smokey and the Bandit, and the Bandit evaded Smokey, and Smokey and the Bandit.
Wow.
That's how evasive he is. So where have you been? He says, how was your day?
Oh, here comes trouble.
Here comes trouble. Pantyhose or cheesecloth? Those are both very good suggestions. Hey, Genexial. Fish. It's different, okay? It's just Don't ask me why either. Just it's different. I don't argue speciesism. I'm in favor of speciesism.
Mm-mm.
People are more important than fish.
Yes. I agree with that too. It's funny with his mom, I was thinking pantyhose as well, but I don't have any pantyhose. And I don't know if we have cheesecloth.
Here's how we know for sure that we're not all part of one living organism. Because when I flush that fish down the toilet, I won't thrash in agony as I go into the sewer.
Oh my god, I'm not going to either. And usually I feel like a lot. Like when like pee-pee is whatever, like I care very much like what the fish and the animals think of me. Even though like with the stray cats, I have let them know, even with like kind of Peter, I've let the stray cats know, like, no, don't mess with pee-pee. But still, like, I care. I don't want them to be scared of me.
Dumb Genius, I don't have an answer for you on that question. It's the right question to ask. That's why I said I don't argue this point. This is how I am. And if you want to accuse me of being worthy of condemnation for being speciesist, fine. But I don't really have a good reason for you. Yeah. Fortunately, T.I. is instrumental for me, so I don't really care.
I'm glad that I'll be sleeping. I'm going to rest easy. Knowing what time are we going to lunch tomorrow?
They're picking up Mom at 11:30, so we'll probably go supervise that, which means we'll be at sunrise at 11:30. Meet with the guy who's watching, get Mom into the van, follow the van and drive over with it to Cheesecake Factory, just because basically that's how Dad expects it to be done.
Okay.
So
I'll be ready by 11.
Sure. That sounds fine. We'll leave here about 11:15.
Okay.
Would you rather your soul be ESFP or ISFJ?
Oh my god.
ISFJ. I mean, I'd be a different person though, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what you're trying.
What I'm trying to get at is I'd be a different human being. It wouldn't be me. That's the thing is we have a lot of examples of this kind of trouble that people have with the concept that some things are immutable insofar as you can't change what they are without breaking them. And some things are endlessly adaptable. And they're fundamentally different categories of things. And people don't like the idea that things are immutable. Gold's gold, right? And nothing else is gold. For so many years, people tried to find ways to convert Mia into gold. But you can't convert Mia into gold. Why can't you do it? Because gold's gold and nothing else is gold. That's why we have elements, right? Well, what's water made out of? Well, it's made out of oxygen and hydrogen. What's hydrogen made out of? It's just made out of hydrogen. Well, I mean, there are little particles like electrons and stuff. What are those? Well, those are hydrogen electrons, hydrogen neutrons. So it's just made out of hydrogen. Well, but what other elements are make up hydrogen? No other elements. It's just hydrogen. You can't reduce it any further. You can't bastardize it without destroying it. Okay? Lead has actually fallen uranium, interestingly. Once the radioactivity of a certain variety of uranium is all gone, it leaves lead. Okay, problem with the cost, like 10 million, take one atom. No, you can't convert lead into gold in any meaningful sense. To the extent that you're converting it, you're doing some sort of thing that is done in the sun where it's completely destroyed, and the link between what it originally was and what it is now is broken. That's the thing. You might be able to kill me, chop up my body, and shape it into a being that looks like a porpoise. But that doesn't mean you've turned me into a porpoise. First you killed me, then you chopped up my body and made my body look like a porpoise. You did not turn me into a porpoise, right? That's what I'm saying. Okay, so you're saying that it changes from one element to another element by way of physically altering it, right? So like if oxygen has an atomic weight of and this many electrons, this many protons, this many neutrons, they're going to go in there and physically add those neutrons and electrons and and change the atomic weight of it accordingly so that it's now the new element, right? Is that what you're saying? But Amanda, you don't need to just answer the question. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what you're saying? Is it? I mean, okay, because the thing is, that's fine. Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, I get it. I get it now. I get what you're saying. So the thing is, with elements, we understand the physical construction of them, and they're so simple and non-sentient that if you change something so that it has the atomic weight of gold, the electrons are gold, the neutrons are gold, and the protons are gold, it will be gold. In other words, because it doesn't have any metaphysical identity, I guess it's physically malleable in that sense. Of course, what can't you do? You can't claim that you released the gold from the lead, right? So in other words, you can't claim that there was ever both lead and gold at the same time. So in the sense that when you force these extra electrons and shit onto it, you are saying, it is no longer lead, right? But it's gold. So okay, the point is this. As is always the case, there are basically what's happening here is what's called arguing from the margins. So when I tell you it's not possible to convert something into gold, on a macro level and functionally that's the case. You can find exceptions in the sense that, well, if you do exactly all these various processes to this, you can convert it to gold. After all, gold emerges somehow through presumably like solar inferno processes and stuff in the first place, right? So All right, fine. But the point is this, that if I sell you an ounce of gold, you can know with 100% certainty whether or not it's actually gold. So the reason for that is because its identity is entirely physical. It is not sentient at all. So the only thing you have to consider is whether or not it's gold, whether or not it has the right number of protons, neutrons, electrons, atomic weight, meltability point, softness, etc. Right? Yeah, what Legends Fall says is right. It's not changing lead into gold, it's making gold using lead, the way you'd make a deck out of wood by adding nails and arranging it as a deck. So the thing is, note how that's not exactly true with currency. If I have a $100 bill, I cannot really be 100% certain that it's not counterfeit. If it's a good enough counterfeit, it might as well be a real one, right? Because I'm not going to notice it. The person who takes it from me is not going to notice it. The bank's not going to notice it. So in that regard, if it's precise enough, it has the same kind of quality as gold in that regard, where it's either gold or it's not. But the thing is, because the currency is mostly symbolic information and only sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Only physical arbitrarily. Like, it doesn't matter what size you make the bill, right? It's and so it's necessarily it's made for purpose to be thin, so you can fold it up in your wallet and stuff, and not take up a lot of space. So it's because some of the reality about whether it's a actual $100 bill links to things other than it's a single physical property you can measure. Like you know, you have to look at a lot of different things. Yeah, I appreciate you correcting me on that, Amanda. Thank you. I'm not trying to get an argument either. You're trying to explain things. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that nos di namdi and nos di namdi and Ron Allen Salon are the same person. Yeah, totally. Ron Allen Salon?
I think I'm gonna
Go to bed?
Yeah, and watch from.
Do what you want, baby, of course.
I love you.
I love you. Yeah. So, Ron, Salon, and Nost and Namdi are the same person. But the fact that he deleted it is like clear verification of it. If it were still there, then you can make the argument, but he must have realized it too. I mean, I've long suspected that Ron Alston was Cloud because he he was so vigorously provocative and attempting, especially after the recent conversation where he claimed to be sourcing things from a book, but really was sourcing from CSJ. You know, where she went to bed. Oh, yeah. Ron Salon is continually trying to be provocative and trying to pretend to not trying to be provocative at the same time, like playing super dumb, innocent kind of thing. So I've long suspected him to be Cloud. I don't see that much of the other one. I don't really Nasta Namdi. I don't really have any opinion about that one. I can remember. There's Rachel. Well, you know, Ron Allen Salon at least sometimes says stuff that's worth negating, I guess. But, you know, he's trying to goad. Yeah, could be Queen's Gambit, could be. I mean, I don't know. I think Cloud could successfully pull off faking being Ron Alston for trying to play the same character consistently across. You don't think he's Cloud? Okay, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't underestimate Cloud's ability to persist in character for such time. He demonstrated already an incredible amount of persistence in attempting to seize the frame, you know, and often succeeding in, you know, provoking me to get upset or whatever. And so it's consistent with that, you know. Yeah, you can also think of Cloud as just sort of a general metaphor for disingenuous people who are primarily interested in provoking rather than actually having a conversation. I mean, in that regard, there's not really any purpose in distinguishing between such people. It's like it's not interesting enough for them to have separate identities. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're like a John. People who patronize a woman of the night, let's say, or sometimes referred to as a John. The name's not actually John, but we can reduce them all to that because, you know, they're obviously being driven by one appetite and one appetite alone. So, well, I mean, they served me up a lot of softballs unintentionally. Like, I enjoy opportunities to hammer shit out of the park with a snappy retort, or um, you know, the intelligent thing to say, the correct thing instead of the wrong things being presented by somebody, right? Uh, so it helps to have some wrong things being said some of the time. It would be nice if the wrongness was naturally occurring and there weren't so many barriers to communication. Starting first and foremost, uh, genetic skill, I kind of agree with you, but it's maybe too well written for him. I can't imagine Cloud using the verb frequent, but he could, maybe. Yeah, we have no way of knowing. The thing is, at the end of the day, um, the people who just come in here and try to provoke are just, they're doing their thing. That's how they want to spend their time here, and that's fine, I guess, unless they start annoying me too much. The thing is kind of inherently annoying about it is, like, they're trying to fool me and not really getting the fact that it's not really possible to fool me. Like, to the extent that you successfully play this character and get me to believe that you are whom you appear to be and sound like and say you are, well, so then I say, oh, I remember you said you lived in San Francisco. Cool. I'm heading up there. Maybe we can get coffee or something. And then you go, aha, it's not really me. Well, what do you mean? I mean, I've been faking to be girls and ISFJ, and really I'm ENTP in Europe. I go, oh, okay, well, see you later. I mean, you know. I mean, Cloud was obviously very, very addicted to this place. He couldn't stop constantly coming here. It seems odd that I would ban him and he'd actually just go away rather than come in as a alternate, account. Given uh, how he was here every time I started the live stream, he'd show up pretty much, So, Muggity meow to the Muggity mew. What can you say? What do you do? If you're like me, you like poo. Yiggity ya, yiggity you. Who is being a controversier? At the moment, I don't remember nobody, I don't think. Somebody maybe? Who was it? I don't remember. Ron Allen Salon, I guess, is obviously a fake, fake INFP. Definitely, whoever Ron Allen Salon is, I've been able to. I told right from the beginning, I could tell that this is somebody who's trying to play a character. But when I talked to 69 Cuter tonight, I can tell you he's a real person. Is that true that he said he had an ex-wife? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't really call these people trolls. Because it's like they have to do so much work to elicit the kind of reactions they're going for that let's put so much effort into pretending to be a real person that limits their ability to actually be shitty, Why is my name bring up? Because I changed it to that. That's your new name. Oh, that's your last name. I've met Horse Mumbler. Horse Mumbler's a real person. I met him. I watched him mumble at horses. Everything about him is 100% true. Now, Alexandra Cruz, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure she's actually an old man from Lower East Manhattan named Eugene Silverstein. You're not fooling me, Eugene Silverstein. You're not fooling me at all. Hey, you can't hold me responsible for that. I'm just an assemblage of momentary waves of energy. Okay? Well said. An assemblage of temporary jostling of the ether. I'm just a wave spreading out from an ether jostle. Yeah, you're right, Seamus. I am onto you. Your name's not Seamus. And you don't even live in Ireland. But you are a drunk. Okay, it is Seamus. Fine. Hey, can you name us, Mr. Seamus? Hello.
Hi. I was wondering, can Jeffrey work with you for a little bit, just on Grandma right now?
Well, I'm live streaming at the moment.
Sorry. Okay.
What does he need to? What does he need to work on?
Oh, just some Grandma stuff. When will you be done?
I mean, I don't really know when I'm going to be done. It's hard to say. I don't know how. It depends how much I'm enjoying it, I guess.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you don't have a definite time.
No, I don't have a definite time. I've been doing it for an hour. I would expect me to go for 2 hours, probably. Probably too late to work on grammar at that point. It would be 10:30 probably before I'm done. Maybe 11. I don't know.
I see. Okay. How about? I mean, are you gonna? What time do you think you could be up tomorrow morning?
Well, tomorrow morning I have to go to help pick up my mom to take her to lunch for Mother's Day at the Cheesecake Factory at 11:30 in the morning. But I have to leave here about 11. I need to get ready a little bit, so it's like it would have to be maybe 9 in the morning.
I'm thinking even earlier than that. Is that possible?
What time do you want me to get up? What time do you want me to do this?
Something like 8.
8?
Because he has school at 8:30.
Okay, well, look, there's a decent chance that I'll be up at 8 tomorrow morning. But
Okay.
if I'm fully crashed out, then I'm not gonna get up and do that. But so all I can do is say if I'm awake at 8, I'll be there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Even if it's 8:10.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
His name's not Chang. It's so racist. His name's Chang Tong Ling Long. Come on, you guys. Don't be so racist. I like how they have two, Boba Fett. It's pretty funny how yeah, there's such a busy tiger mom. It's currently 9:30. And like I told her, I've been live streaming for an hour. I probably got another hour in me, before I get tired of it. So fortunately, I don't have to do it tonight. I'll do it in the morning. I'll probably be up by then. But it's hard to say for sure. Do you want to go for a swim? Do you have a swimming pool? Before diving into your backyard, check to see if you have a swimming pool. Okay? You get hurt if you just assume there's one there and dive. I'm a real person, Blair. Who said that? Who remembers that quote? Maybe if I say it like this. I'm a real person, Blair. What show is that from? A very special episode of what? Remember? All right, I'll give you a hint. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. That's your hint. Nope, not Brady Bunch. Nope, not Get a Life, but you're getting closer. Yes, Jeffrey's an ENTP, Boba Fett. A little more serious one than me. Not a 7, I think he's probably a 3 or a 4. Facts of Life is right, Winston's mom. Winston's mom gets the prize. It's the episode of Facts of Life where Blair is trying to be nice to the mentally disabled girl, but the mentally disabled girl doesn't want to be treated differently, right? So she explains to Blair. She says, "I'm a real person, Blair." And we all learned an important lesson in that episode. We did. No, it wasn't Tootie, but I remember I totally had the hots for Tootie. She got big old boobs, you know? And that sweater, that little sweater. Okay, Jaxiel. I wish you a sweet and tender slumber, okay? While you're falling asleep tonight, I want you to imagine in your head a bunch of me's jumping over a fence as you're going to sleep. Instead of sheep, okay? That would be me. You just count me's jumping over a fence as you're going to sleep. Is Facts of Life the show where one of the kids got AIDS? Don't command my questioning. Oh, she had cerebral palsy? Okay. I didn't know what was wrong with her. I remember seeing it as a little kid. See, me and my friends would those special episodes don't teach kids the special lesson they're supposed to learn. They give kids an example of something to make fun of. And so as kids, we'd say, "I'm a new person, Blair." If somebody did something stupid, My bad. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. Please have a seat. I'm standing right now. I sit a lot. And the other problem is this couch that I have been sitting on for a year and a half now is too low for me. It needs to be higher up, so my legs aren't so meow. Is Rachel asleep? Probably not yet. She usually takes a little bit longer than that to fall asleep. She just took her medicine maybe 20 minutes ago. Actually, I'm not jumping over the fence naked. I've got on tight lycra bike pants and a cashmere sweater. That's a good response anytime anybody says that to you, by the way. We learned a good snappy comeback tonight. Anytime someone says, "Don't question my meow," say, "Don't command my questioning." Bum bum ba da da ba da 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 da. Bum 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 ba da da ba da 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 ba da. Bum 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 ba da da da. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. That's the Mr. Belvedere song. Do you recognize it? Come and knock on your door. He'll be waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his, Three's Company too. Yeah, I loved Three's Company actually when I was a kid. When it was on in actual like prime time, I was probably 7 or 8 years old. I thought it was absolutely fucking hilarious. Now, when I watch it in retrospect, I'm like, this isn't funny, really. But as a kid, I thought it was hilarious. That's my mom. Here's a tricky one. If you really want to know your 80s theme song shows, Max Landis? I don't know who Max Landis is exactly. No, well, that's the A-Team song, I think. But what I was going to say, the challenge question is this. Sing both the following, the Growing Pains song and the Family Ties song. Which is which? Do you remember them both? Most people can only remember one of them. Isn't that like the Night Rider music? It's just kind of like electronic-y kind of thing. I mean, I thought it was funny. Is why I loved it. I thought that John Ritter was hilarious. His humor worked on me as a kid. I thought Mr. Furley was funny. I didn't like the Ropers nearly as much. I think as a kid, that kind of like humor about how Mr. Roper isn't attracted to his wife, who has this just insanely large sexual appetite, and the way they fight with each other. I think that stuff didn't really resonate with me as a kid as funny. Whereas Don Knotts as Mr. Furley, I thought was funny. I really enjoyed the kind of sitcom stuff where someone's hiding in one room and someone's hiding, and they're trying to get the guy to go look over here, and then they run over here and we gotta hide her because she's not like that shit. I liked that a lot as a kid, and I even kind of still like it a lot in the sense that my favorite Friends episode is the one with two parties, in which they say at the beginning of it, they make a reference to Three's Company about, what is this, a Three's Company episode or something like that. It's my favorite Friends episode. Yeah, I believe you threw that one out before, Ron. You already tried that particular kind of bait. Okay. Time for El Bong Repo. Let me just say, Alexandra Cruz is absolutely right about this. And it's something I didn't realize until way late in my life. I can actually give Kimberly credit for this. Kimberly made me come to understand that almost every time I have a headache, I'm either dehydrated or hungry. And that's what causes headaches. Usually both. Thank you, Legends Fall. Appreciate the critique. No, some Liquid 4, Boba Fett. Have you ever heard of it? It's the new ultra hydrating liquid. Liquid 4. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Oh, Jeffrey Epstein. I bet that Jeffrey Epstein character is unlinked to all this previous equivalent nonsense, huh? Eric, what is the best band of all time? Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, I guess you wouldn't really go wrong with the Beatles as an answer. The Beatles are probably, I think you reasonably make an argument that the Beatles have the greatest total number of wholly successful instances of songwriting and the best ratio of hits to misses of any band ever. Don't drink Dasani? Why not? That's right. I guess would probably be the best answer. As far as bands that I listen to the most, like, I tend to update my playlist fairly often, I guess. So it's hard to say that, but I have my composition rock playlist, which is more for stuff that's kind of older stuff that I still probably liked before and still like rather than recently discovered. And stuff that's on there includes Billy Joel, Steely Dan, Weezer. Yes?
Hi. Sorry, I have a quick grammar question. So, can you say a song is from an album, or would you say it's on an album?
I mean, you could say either.
Oh, okay. So, it would not be wrong to say a song is on an album?
Well, you could say, for example, that California is a song on the Joni Mitchell album Blue. Or you could say,
You cut out a bit, what?
You could say, for example, California is a song on the Joni Mitchell album Blue. But you could also say, California is a song from the Joni Mitchell album Blue.
Oh, so it's not wrong? Okay. So here's the sentence I had to correct. It originally said, the most popular song is Baby Shark Dance on Ping Pong's album. I corrected it too. The most popular song is Baby Shark Dance from Ping Pong's album. I don't know which one's correct.
No, from is better in that case.
Okay.
And the reason is because the song is popular, not on the album, right? Like the song from the album is popular. It doesn't make sense to say it's popular on the album in that sense, but it's because of that popular part.
Actually, there's another sentence I had to correct. In Macbeth, a play written by Shakespeare, the main guy or his wife have an intense desire for the crown of Scotland and use violent means to achieve this. Subsequently, they both lose everything as everyone rejected it. I corrected the sentence too. In Macbeth, a play written by Shakespeare, the protagonist and his wife desire the crown of Scotland and use violence to obtain the crown. Subsequently, they both lose everything as everyone rejects their authority. Does mine solve the issue?
Yeah, you might want to put something instead of cause everybody to reject them. Just say like, however, the backlash costs them everything. In the end, backlash costs them everything. That way, you could be a little more concise, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than that, sounds good. Anything else?
Yeah, one other question. Sorry. This one is, when the FBI raided the Mr. and Mrs. Jones' house, they saw that there was a lot of books laying on the ground and were surprised to see 4 copies of the novel All the King's Men because they studied it in high school. I changed it to, when the FBI agents raided Mr. and Mrs. Jones' house, they saw that there were many books laying on the ground, and the agents were surprised to see 4 copies of the novel All the King's Men because they studied it in high school. Oh, by the way, I changed a period, and then the agents were surprised.
Okay, I mean, I don't think you should have a because. There's, they're surprised to see 4 copies of this book, which they had read in high school or something,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
One more sentence. Jack's and Greg's adventure into Burnham Woods didn't turn out as he expected because neither wrung any food, water, or shelter. I correct this too. Jack and Greg's adventure in Burnham Wood didn't turn out as they had expected because neither brought any food, water, or shelter. Is that corrected?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Great. Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem. Bye. So, wait, we're not meeting tomorrow morning then?
No.
No, okay, cool.
Thank you.
All right, sure, bye.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. When you said that, I didn't know quite what to make of it. Like, I wasn't sure what you were trying to get at there. If you were trying to make a joke, then I guess it would be, it would be a joke about, like, it'd be positioning yourself as somebody who's so constrained by NI that they go, the only possible way any business is successful is if it has a 3-letter thing. It's like, it's very tool function NI to a ridiculous level. So I guess it would be an NI joke. I see. Yeah, that was my student. That was Jeffrey, who, didn't want to take no for an answer. So it's like, All right, fine. Unless you got any grammar questions. Trevor calling him Ryobi? Who? Oh, leaf trimmer? No, he's got, I guess, a grammar assignment or something to turn in tomorrow, and he wanted to check to make sure he'd done it right. Talking with people. I like talking with famous better, or just talking famous people. But no, I'll keep it as it is. Boy, I tell you, life's a funny thing. Busy days and busy ways. I have a. That reminds me, I've got a video I've been uploading that I now need to schedule for publishing. I guess I will schedule it for about 15 minutes from now and then wrap this live stream up. Today's the 10th. And what time is it right now? It's almost 10 p.m. I'll put it at 10:15 p.m. Like meow. Pew. And I'll put it at May 10, like that. Pew. I'll set it to the premiere. I'll schedule it. Okay. Now I'm going to get the link. Like, yeah. And I'm going to put it here. Okay, so where's my meow? Here. Famous talk, peepishly. So anyway, this, Shadrach, is that his name? Yeah, Shadrach. I typed him, I guess, about a year ago, and a year ago I typed him as INTP, and today he wanted to be, he paid me to type him again and to just generally ask a lot of questions and have me answer his questions. And his basic premise was that he felt like an INFP more than an INTP. And, well, I don't want to have any other spoilers, I guess. I'll just leave it at that. It's a good video. I think you'll find it's a very... he challenges me a lot with good questions and stuff. And I think I give good answers. So I feel like it's worth watching. So that's going to premiere in 15 minutes. And well, you know that any tool function, right? They go, wow, but I didn't think of reasons why maybe I'm actually a meow. So you can see for yourself and make your own determination. I never or almost never watch the typing sessions. I might actually watch this one because it's pretty. It should be pretty snappy and pretty entertaining. Of course, the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a brand new typing. I have zero recollection of ever having spoken to the guy before. So it's like, I don't remember what I typed you as, let alone how that conversation went or anything like that. You know, I just start from scratch, and except, you know, in this instance, I asked him to sort of direct me because he had indicated he'd been typed before. But it's not like he remembered it. I didn't remember it, but I didn't need to remember it because he was there to tell me what he'd been thinking about for a year. You know? Yeah, just because I don't remember typing them before. So in other words, I wasn't influenced at all by my SI memory of what he had done before. That's what I mean by that. I just didn't remember what it was, how it went before. I didn't remember him at all. So, you know, from my perspective, I'm doing the same thing I'm always doing, which is here's somebody I don't know, and I'm supposed to figure out what type they are. Alex Rodriguez, Legends Paul is playing. Let me take my 8th slot NE out for a drive tonight. So just ignore him. By Alex Jones's water purifiers. Why? What's wrong with my water? Is it not pure enough? This is how I know my tap water is fine. My fish live in it. Here's a link. Yeah, my water around here, it's H2OS. The S is for subjectivity. You know what I got for free tonight as a reward for my frequent customership? I got a free cookie from Papa John's. We placed a order for pickup. I don't want to spend the money on the delivery fee and the tip, you know. It's a lot cheaper when you go pick it up. And it's faster than any drive-thru because it's already ready waiting for you, you know. Listen, I'm the guy who got the free cookie from Papa John's, not you, New Groove. Let's clarify that right now. I am the free cookie recipient. Makes me the special person. Now, I'm a special person. You still have to love me. Okay? So yeah, we got Hawaiian, which is pineapple and yeah. I haven't even tasted the cookie yet. Actually, Rachel likes some of it though. It's a big cookie. It comes in this box here. It's more like a pie rather than a cookie. Pie cookies are not allowed? What's wrong with pie cookies, Alexander Cruz? Which part of it do you hate, the pie or the cookie? Do you start to hate type food the more frequently you eat it at this point? I'm at this point with pizza where you just gag your thought. Actually, no. Rachel and I will eat McDonald's day after day after day. Like every once in a while, she'll switch it up and go from McDoubles to chicken nuggets. Then she'll go chicken nuggets, chicken nuggets, chicken nuggets, chicken nuggets, chicken nuggets, chicken nuggets. Then she'll go, I think I want McDoubles again. McDoubles. So, well, yeah, I mean, you can compare it against the size of a pizza box, right? The pizza came in the regular pizza box. And when I ordered it online to pick up, it said, you have earned a free reward, a free cookie. And so I was like, okay, well, add it to my order then. If it's free, sure, why not? Because it also said it was going to expire on the 11th. So, if I was either today I get the free cookie or I don't get it at all, right? So this is the free cookie, and it's small for a pizza, but big for a cookie, right? Small for a pizza and big for a cookie. Well, the provocateurs, when ignored, they go away. They can't engage except by SE friend impact. Like they're trying to disrupt the flow of things. When they cause an impact, then they feel as though I guess they exist or something. And when they don't, because they're not processing information or ideas, there's no point in them being here at all. They're only here to kick the anthill, and if it's not working, then that's it. They go. No avocado. I had Hawaiian pizza, which has not avocado, but instead pineapple on it. I really like pineapple on my pizza. Right, if they disrupt the flow, they become the main character. But, I mean, I think that's actually not really their motivation. Having been in classrooms teaching plenty of times and having ESTPs and ESFPs in my classes, there was a very smart ESTP who was Edmund's partner in debate, and he used to constantly ask me questions in class that were reasonable enough questions about something I just said, but that redirected the flow of what I was talking about. And it took me a little while to catch on that's what he was doing, And I said, Mr. Allen, you just go next door. I don't want to deal with you. Edmund can explain to you later. The thing is, if you think about it, it's like you can understand how torturous certain education formats are for certain types. If what was I saying? You're distracted by shit. Oh, okay. So say I'm in a classroom environment where I'm being told, don't do any of your own ideation, do it exactly the way I tell you to do all the time. Well, that's going to be incredibly frustrating for me as an ENTP. If you're an ESTP or an ESFP, here you are being compelled to do endless amounts of receiving information and or dealing with things purely on a metaphysical level, and every instinct within you says we should stop talking about this, decide, and do something with it. And of course, you can't put that into words because you're a little kid, so you just disrupt. You just kick the anthill. You see, at least you're having some sort of impact on the world. It's your nature. You dropped a whole case of Topo Chico at my front door. There's glass everywhere. Topo Chico. I don't know what that is. But I will say this. Glass has a weird way. It's like I broke a beer one time, a beer bottle in the garage. When I was putting them away, it like stuck to my hand. It came out and fell on the ground and it broke. Man, I was picking up little pieces of glass for weeks after that. I still see another little piece. Same thing in the back here. I broke a glass thing that I was using as an ashtray, and I immediately go down and pick up everything, every piece I can see, and then I continue picking up pieces for like 2 weeks that I didn't see the first time. They're really sneaky. They hide from you. If I'm an EXXP, why does my NE get performance anxiety when in a big corporate brainstorm session? I don't know. I mean, it would depend, I guess, on what you think they want from you in that corporate brainstorming session and whether or not you but how will I get my daily allowance of pathogenic bacteria? Okay, I'm going to split because I've got a premiere in 4 minutes. I don't want to live stream over my own premiere. No, what I'm saying? Here's the link again. To the Pewdie Pow. If you want to watch that premiere, see you there. I'll be there for at least a little bit of it. Bye, everybody.